Zdravvo, and welcome to Uncovering Ohrid, our travel guide and love letter to the Pearl of the Balkans. When you set out to see the world, you prepare for the cafes in France, climbing up the steps of Machu Picchu, and maybe riding a camel in the desert. You dream about the things you've heard of, the activities you've read about, but you can never prepare for the inevitable falling in love with a country you've never heard of and a city you never knew existed. You can't dream about flavors of cuisine that don't have a restaurant back home. You can't imagine the adventures that a leap of curiosity can take you on. Macedonia is one of Europe's least visited and least known countries, and yet one of its most affordable, safest, and easiest to travel, making it the perfect country to explore and experience slowly. Ohrid is a small lakeside city in the southwest region of Macedonia and has been our home for the last 6 weeks. Not only is Ohrid a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it's also a treasure of history, nature, and mouth-watering cuisine. From ancient ruins to crystal clear waters of Lake Ohrid, we will take you with us to explore these 6 weeks in this incredible town. With so many incredible countries in the Balkans, it was a delicate job selecting where to settle down for 6 weeks. The more we researched, the more we wanted to spend a year in every country here. It was inspiring research, and eventually we found ourselves gravitating towards Macedonia. We love so many fundamental things about it. First, it's affordable. It's exceedingly safe, has plenty of national parks, and is known for a blended cuisine. Not to mention, their capital city marathon coincided perfectly with our dates in the country. But perhaps the most important factor in our decision, despite its robust history, we knew almost nothing about the country or the Macedonian people, and we needed to learn more. We needed to experience it. Before we dive deeper into our life here, one of the first things we feel a need to address is the name. In 2019, the official name changed from Republic of Macedonia to North Macedonia. We learned that people who call this place home do not use the North and continue to use the classic Macedonia. So, this video will follow their example. As for how we selected Ohrid, well, by the end of this video, you'll understand. The bus to Ohrid is straightforward and how you would expect it to work. We got a €16 ticket for a next day departure, although there are multiple buses that leave every day connecting Ohrid and Skopje. Ohrid also has a seasonal airport that operates in the summer months. It is also a popular long-distance bus stop, with buses originating from Turkey, Germany, Albania, Greece, and likely more countries too. We arrived in early September. It was hot. 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit every day with lots of sun. Although it was a dry heat, there wasn't much of a breeze to really break it up. The sun was a doozy, which just made this cold lake extra inviting. The weather cooled down to the upper 60s at night. We got more rain than expected during our 6 weeks here, but it was never a drag or cloudy for too long. Towards mid-October, the weather became perfect. 46 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning and 65 during the day, with lots of sun. Perfect for hiking or simply enjoying all this town has to offer. Our home for the 6 weeks totaled $46 per night, the highest we've ever paid. But anticipating some friends joining us, it was worth it. Plus, this place is stellar. Situated atop a 3-story multi-unit building, it was private and really nice.
All right, so we've just arrived at our home for the next 6 weeks. We've got such a great Airbnb. It's even better than I imagined. Let me show you around. So this is our bedroom. And I guess we have a balcony. Oh my gosh, look at a little chair.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Oh, I love the mountains. This is so nice.
The mountains.
Oh my gosh. We could totally take a third person if we needed to.
If we have a small friend, any small friend out there, you're welcome to that couch.
Oh my gosh, I think we've got tons of storage.
Oh, it's empty.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if we'll need the blankets, but that's good to have.
It's so nice to be able to hang up stuff again. Got like a little hallway entrance. Alright, we've got a gorgeous bathroom.
I like the skylight.
Check. Now we have bedroom number 2 because we have a couple of guests coming to stay with us. So this will be our room for our friends when they come to visit. Which is your reminder, if you're a friend and you're watching this and you haven't visited us yet, please come. And they also have a balcony.
Do they have cute little chairs too?
They do.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to watch all those leaves change colors this fall. Alright, what else we got, baby? We've got a huge fancy living room with plenty of room for doing yoga and working out, a nice TV that we'll probably never touch, and another balcony.
Third balcony is the charm. Or the charming one.
Look if we can dry our clothes out here. It's a pretty good setup. Alright, and finally the kitchen. Here. We've got our kitchen with a freezer, a fridge, plenty of storage space that's already been taken up, but I'm sure we'll make it work. Stove. Really everything you need. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna hit our head on this a lot.
I've got bad head awareness.
Yeah, you do. That's gonna be a problem.
The area around us was mostly quiet, except on Friday and Saturday nights. It was approximately a 10-minute walk to the groceries, our favorite coffee shop, our gym, and 15-minute walk to the waterfront, and only 30 minutes from downtown. A perfect location. Before we get into all these aspects of our time here, it's important to have context to the historical magnitude of this town. If you followed our Uncovering series so far, you'll know we always touch on the history of the region and the city that we live in. Given the magnitude and the diversity of Ohrid's past, this history section will be getting a little extra love in this video. If that's not your cup of tea, feel free to accelerate to the next portion. But if you're curious of how this town played a role in history, buckle up. Ohrid as a city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the oldest human settlements in Europe. Ohrid is home to a rich and diverse history. This history is most visible walking around the extremely well-preserved ancient urban center, aka Old Town, and in taking in the beautiful churches, mosques, and castles. The first of which was built by King Philip II, Alexander the Great's father. Throughout the Roman Empire, Ohrid was a stopover on the land route linking the Adriatic and the Aegean Seas, and part of the land route to Constantinople, now Istanbul. Religion is paramount in Ohrid's history. Ohrid was the seat of the bishop in the 4th century, after being integrated into the Byzantine Empire in 395 AD. For hundreds of years, it was a key center for Christianity. This continued into the 10th century, when 2 disciples of Slavic apostles made Ohrid a center for missionary activities and teachings, leading to it becoming the seat of the archbishop. At one time, the city boasted 365 churches. However, there's only about 70 that still remain to this day. Soon after, it became the capital for the Bulgarian Tsar. As prominence and importance continued to rise, Ohrid was home to the first Slavonic university in the Balkans, spreading writing and education through the old Slavonic world. A millennium later, it is impossible to ignore the remnants of these ancient times. Nowadays, it's one of the chief destinations of Macedonia. The city. Downtown Ohrid is surprisingly bustling. All the time. We love this town. One of the things we love is just how much activity there is all day long and all night long. The center of downtown, as far as we can tell, is this ancient tree and the water fountain at its base. Clearly there's something good in the water here. Off of one street is this small bazaar. Another street is filled with delicious and affordable restaurants. Down the next are fancy pearl shops. And your general destination shops, candy, tea, and lots of baklava. You'll know immediately when you've entered Old Town Ohrid. The buildings' color and construction change, the roofs change, the streets narrow. No matter where you are in Old Town, you feel like you're somewhere. The Old Town quarter is filled with tiny museums, historic homes, and beautifully unique shops. I'm not educated enough in Byzantine architecture to explain the significance of all these buildings, only that they're unlike anything we've ever seen. Exploring Old Town is a workout. The streets wind up hills, and you're likely going to walk a lot further than you planned simply because there's so many nooks and crannies to explore. As you make your way through Old Town, you'll also find the Ohrid Boardwalk. It's easy to miss if you're not looking for it. This boardwalk stretches around the cliff, putting you just feet above the crystal clear waters of the lake, where you can hear the waves hit the rocks. No matter what time of day, this boardwalk is stunning. The Old Town architecture is unique, but what also surprised us is the homes in the new town. Most buildings were huge, and they appeared to be multi-unit, even on the outskirts of town. Perhaps it's common to rent out rooms, like what we're renting, or perhaps family and friends all live in the same building. There were not many major apartment buildings in town, but there were a ton of multi-unit places. Macedonia is also huge on out front terraces with chairs and tables, covered with figs, grapes, and kiwis. Oh, and it's the first place in Europe with air conditioning units. Sweet, sweet AC. It's not the most aesthetic feature, but in the first few weeks in town, we were grateful to have the option of turning on some air conditioning. Ohrid is a cat city. Cats everywhere. We even named the corner where we turn to go home Cat Alley because of the consistent cat activity. Dogs too, of course. Some are pets, some are strays. The strays here are tagged with chips in their ears to signal that they're spayed, neutered, and have their shots. Most importantly, all dogs and cats are friendly and quite beautiful. And often we were joined on our runs by a handful of dogs. Our favorite part of the town of Ohrid was the expansive, lively, and beautiful promenade along the lake. There were swimmers on warm days, fishermen in the mornings, and swans 24/7. Some days the lake was like glass. Other days the waves could splash you across the entire walkway. No matter how often we walked here, it never got old. In fact, we loved it even more. Life in Ohrid. Similar to our time in Latin America, our target budget in Macedonia was $75 per day as a couple. Macedonia uses the Macedonian denar for currency. However, most tourist spots, souvenirs, expensive restaurants, guest houses, also accept payment in euros. At the time of us living here, the exchange rate was 55 denar to $1. To our surprise, with all the joy of the town, we were actually able to hit our target budget for 6 weeks, and this includes plenty of coffee and loads of Ivar. I've got a jar of Ivar, I've got a jar of Ivar. This is a jar of Ivar. It is Macedonian specialty, homemade in this case, red peppers, eggplant, paprika, delicious. We're about to put it on whatever this is. Groceries. For being a small town, there are so many small grocery stores and a good number of large ones too. If you have time and patience, you can find just about anything you might need for Western or traditional Macedonian cuisine. The cheapest one we found is Stokomak. It has everything you need except the fruits and veggies. Lots of snacks, lots of staples, and the lowest prices in town. There's also Top Market and 10X, which have slightly higher prices, but an even more robust selection. And also Kipper and Cam. So many options. If you want affordable fruits and vegetables, there's a lively street market right off of the main road just outside the heart of downtown. There's tons of high-quality peppers, Ivar, fruits, honeys, and all manner of good stuff. It's cash only, but it's all high quality and affordable. If you're staying in Ohrid long-term, you'll likely have interest in going to a gym. There were 2 gyms that were within walking distance of our home. Both were the same price, 1,000 denar or $18 per month. We went with Gym Ponak. The equipment is old, the building is dimly lit, and the single employee, George, bounces in and out all day long every day. When we returned to the gym to officially sign up for the month, George was gone. But someone let us in. So we just started exercising. When George returned, he lit up and made us feel welcomed right away. The transaction was simple. We write down our names, he writes down American in the Cyrillic alphabet, and then a nice plus 2000 DEN, and that's it, we're in the gym. It's the type of gym that makes us wish we were 1980s bodybuilders. In fact, it was built by hand by the owner's brother, a former Yugoslavian bodybuilder champion. This wasn't the only place we saw George. Almost daily, he would find us while out on his bicycle and encourage us to get into the gym. As we were in Ohrid during the Skopje Marathon, we had a lot of running we needed to be doing. This town is not terrible for running at all. We found ourselves and other runners gravitating to the stretch following the lake from Old Town to the lake bars and past that to the resorts. It was about 50% shaded and uninterrupted by cars. We also found that we could extend the run north on the highway to Bitula for several miles on a great sidewalk. Not at all related to the gym is the hospital. Although not high on everyone's list of places to visit in Ohrid, we did have an emergency one morning when I woke up with a swollen, painful eye. Here I am, outside of the hospital in Ohrid, Macedonia. And although I'm in a great deal of pain, I scratched my cornea. I must say this is the best hospital experience I've had anywhere in the world. It was efficient, the staff was super kind, very personable, amazing service, and affordable. If you're gonna get injured and you don't have free healthcare, this is where you want to do it.
Let's go get your prescriptions, baby. Not to mention, we literally just got his medication in 30 seconds, walked in, handed the pharmacist the paperwork. She went into a drawer, grabbed the medicine that he needed. It was how much money?
$5.
$5, and now we're heading home. This was the easiest experience I think we've ever had going to a doctor in a hospital.
Love this country more and more every day.
I cannot believe how good of care they took of Colin.
Even though I can't see it anymore.
And everybody that was like around us that spoke English, to the doctors and the people that didn't, was there helping to translate. It was just, I don't know, I felt very welcomed and supported. All right,
good experience.
We're taking Colin home now.
We were seen in seconds by a doctor and a nurse, diagnosed and out with a prescription in 15 minutes. Efficient and extremely kind service. Interested in a road trip? Ohrid is in an incredible location for several day and weekend trips. And renting a car in Macedonia, it's easy, like everything. Our rental was from Lake Tours and Excursions. It's a hassle-free experience with an easy process. They bring the car to you, or you pay on-site, you are always insured, and they provide a green card for crossing borders if you want that. And you don't have to sign your life away. All this for €39 per day. When we first arrived, we thought that the saying, Ohrid, the pearl of the Balkans, had an incredible ring to it. Little did we know that Ohrid actually has a beautiful history of pearls. This history dates back to the 1920s, when an immigrant from Russia arrived with a secret technique of turning fish scales into pearls. This man taught two families the secret, and for over 100 years that secret has been passed down verbally from father to children. Fish pearls, as they are known, are exclusively from the Placica fish, a trout endemic to Lake Ohrid. In the past century, world leaders have indulged in Ohrid pearls, and they have gained international recognition. If you're in the market for a souvenir, these would make an impression and are affordable for the high-quality jewelry that they are. Ohrid is full of historical landmarks from the empires gone by. You could spend a day or a week visiting them all. The most prominent cultural landmark, Samuel's Fortress. Built atop a hill, this fortress towers over town, wielding a massive Macedonian flag that contrasts the blue sky. It's about $3 per person for entry into the fortress. Once you're inside, you are free to roam the grounds and all across the ramparts. Here, you'll find panoramic views of the lake, the city, and the surrounding mountains. The fortress was originally built by King Philip II of Macedon, Alexander the Great's father, and later, during the 11th century, Tsar Samuel of Bulgaria restored and improvised the fortress to match medieval defense standards, hence the thick walls. With the improved fortifications, Ohrid served as the capital of the First Bulgarian Empire. This fortress has been built, destroyed, and rebuilt a ton of times throughout its very complex history. But one of the things that's fascinating about this is just look how wide these walls are nowadays because they've been built to withstand so many different forces. They're huge! As you tour the fortress, you'll witness active excavation and improvements, as the history of this monument is still being written. A short walk down the hill from Samuel's fortress is the Church of St. Clement and Panteleimon. Impressive in size and detail, this Byzantine church boasts a beautiful exterior as well as interior. Many archaeologists believe that the church was also one of the sites where the Cyrillic alphabet, the religious script that became the de facto alphabet used in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, was originally taught. Although the church was turned into a mosque several times in its history, in the year 2000 it was again restored as a church, built back in the Byzantine style and with Byzantine methods. The only use of machines was to polish a few rocks. The cost to enter the grounds and church is $3. Similar to the fortress, this site is also an active restoration and excavation site. They were even painting the interior when we were there. Again, they were using the old methods. Further down the hill, you'll find another Byzantine-era structure, the Church of St. John the Theologian. You can walk around the grounds of this church, admire the architecture from up close, and enjoy meditating in the beauty of the hill for free. Or if you're keen to go inside, it'll cost you $3. Notice the theme? If you take the hill route to get here, you can return to town by the beautiful Ohrid boardwalk. Perhaps the largest church in town, it's easy to miss as it does not permeate the skyline. Again, the grounds are free to walk around, but it's $3 to enter. Yeah, there are a lot of Byzantine-era churches here. If Byzantine history isn't your thing, how about winding the historical clock back a few thousand extra years? The Bay of Bones is an indescribable, unique attraction on the shores of Lake Ohrid. This museum is built over an archaeological site, replicating the structures of the first people to live on Lake Ohrid before 1200 BC. The site is beautiful and interactive, and the views of the lakes and the mountains are also stellar. Each home on this museum is slightly different and meticulously constructed. It's a great place for hide and seek. It was, you guessed it, $3 for an entrance fee. The site is also home to remnants of a Roman garrison, which is a perfect place for a picnic. Moving to only a few hundred years ago, unsurprisingly cool is the Handmade Paper Museum. It's a short activity, maybe only 10 minutes, but it is not to be missed. Home to one of the few remaining original Gutenberg press that is still operational, you can get an up-close demonstration of how paper was made and how books were printed hundreds of years ago. If you're unfamiliar with the Gutenberg press, this is the same type of press that was used to print the Bible in mass quantities.
Ornament or combination. The same principle. Fixed, practical, put it ink, dark, paper.
Natural attractions. So far, you've heard about the liveliness of the town and the history that makes this place so unique. But beyond what man has made, there's a tranquility in the nature here that can set any soul at ease. Starting with Lake Ohrid. An absolute work of beauty, Lake Ohrid covers 134 square miles and is almost 1,000 feet deep, making it one of the deepest lakes in Europe. The temperature was never freezing, but always cold enough to be refreshing. Okay, maybe it was a bit colder than that. From a geological standpoint, this is one of the oldest lakes in the world, and it contains over 200 endemic species of plants and animals, including its own species of trout. That's the trout that makes the pearls. There are only 7 non-native fish species that have been identified in the lake, of which none are considered invasive. The lack of invasive fish is due to the unique makeup of the nutrients in the water, as well as the high oxygen content and transparency. The lake and its shores are considered UNESCO World Heritage Sites on both the Macedonian side as well as the Albanian side, setting the stage for national parks, national wetlands, and national reserves to protect this unique lake and its shores. Because it's surrounded by protected land and is also one of the cleanest lakes that we've ever swam. Most days, we would leave the lake feeling cleaner than a shower. The only part of the lake that is developed is around the downtown of Ohrid, the stunning boardwalk. Here, there are lots of ladders for swimming, and there's also a border between the road and the boardwalk, which is perfect for lounging, as evidenced by the dozens of people sitting, reading, playing, and relaxing here all hours of the day. Just south of town is a small beachfront. It's remote with 3 beach bars. If you buy a cheap drink, you can relax in the chairs and use the facilities all day and jump in the water. Moving from the lake to the national park rising above the lake, National Park Galicica. The park preserves 24,000 acres to the east and the south of Ohrid, full of beautiful hiking trails, teeming with butterflies, and home to lynx and black bears.
Are we gonna find you on the trail?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Always wanted to see a lynx.
Me too.
There's an entrance to the trails right off the main road heading east of town, just past the roundabout/gas station. From this entrance, you can access near endless trails, up to peaks, along the lake, and to several towns. More trails than you can ever hope to traverse in one go. Near the start of this entrance is a nature walk featuring local flora and fauna. This is an easy, family-friendly hike, and is still enough to get you away from the noise of the city. As you continue up the trails, no matter what direction you choose, you get blessed with expansive views of the lake and the town. Not without its own history, this national park also marked part of the Balkan front in World War I and is filled with hidden bunkers. This front ran from Thessaloniki to Skopje, right around these mountains. 2 hours north of Ohrid is another national park that took our breath away, Mavrovo National Park. Mavrovo is the largest national park in Macedonia, about 3 times the size of Galicica near Ohrid. We had the opportunity to rent a car for a day and explore these beautiful mountains. There's hiking above the tree line for all levels, family-friendly hikes over slow rolling hills, technical hiking to a few peaks, and more advanced hiking for those who are daring enough. The hike we chose to do is Medenica Peak, consisting of hiking up to a plateau overlooking several valleys leading up to sharp peaks. The peaks around the park approach 2,700 meters or 8,800 feet, including the highest mountain in Macedonia, Mount Korab, at 9,058 feet or 2,764 meters. Off these scenic roads through the park is the village of Rashuth, home of the Duff Waterfall. It's about a 30-minute hike to the Duff Waterfall. On weary legs after conquering Medenica Peak, this trail was surprisingly challenging, although not intimidating, and due to its shortness is a great family-friendly option. The hike takes you through a canyon along a bustling river, ending up at Duff Waterfall. Although not gushing like some of the other famous waterfalls, it was awesome to see the water plummeting down through a hole up in the rock. Back in Ohrid, there's one more piece of nature that cannot be overlooked. Not quite a hidden gem, these cliffs and beaches can be found by walking on the far side of the castle. To our surprise, this area was rarely busy and offered solitude, peace, and a slice of nature right next to the city. There is a paved path down to the water for a small rock beach, and there are lanterns that can lead the way home if you choose to stay for sunset. Our favorite part? Right before sunset, there are dozens of Eurasian bee eaters swooping all about. Bridging the gap between history and nature, it is imperative to make a day out of the scenic boat ride to St. Naum. By walking along the promenade, you'll see boats every morning, different courses, itineraries, and captains. We signed up for a 6-hour excursion to St. Naum that left around 11 o'clock and returned at 5. It was a semi-private catamaran, or as we call it, a pontoon, for 20 euros per person. There is also an option to take a larger boat for 15 euros, but those boats don't get you as close to the coast as the small ones. Plus, we wanted our economic footprint to go to the small, intimate boat charter. The boat ride is beautiful, taking us to the Holy Mother of God's Ahumska Church, seeing the reconstructed Bay of Bones from the water, and gliding past the rock cliffs that line the lake. St. Naum itself is a destination, which is why we are grateful that the tour allows for over 2.5 hours to explore this area. The monastery is massive and beautiful. It offers views of the lake, the countryside, and the mountains. Also in St. Naum is a crystal clear freshwater stream. There are options to take a gondola ride up the stream, or you can take a short loop hike around the stream for beautiful views. Unfortunately, the crystal clear water doesn't video too well because it's clear. St. Naum is home to a beautiful sand beach, accompanied by a slowly sloping swim area with a sandy bottom. Swimming up to our necks, we could still see our toes at the bottom with perfect clarity. This excursion comes highly, highly recommended. Coffee and baked goods. If all this history and nature has made you a little drowsy, you might be needing a good cup of coffee. Don't worry, Ohrid has you covered. First up, Kowi. Closest to our home, Kowi was our favorite. It is our get a coffee, sit outside, laugh and dream coffee shop.
All right, this is hands down the best latte we've gotten abroad. Besides Café con Leches in Spain, I'm sorry, those are really good. But this is an Arabica latte, which has got some special beans in it. I don't know what kind of magic they put into this, but so good. And it's at our favorite little coffee shop here in town. When we first walked by it, my first thoughts were like, oh, there's no seating here. And then I realized that the seating is here in the square. And so when you get your cup of coffee, like you're just a part of the community, and I love that. So we come here almost every single day to start the day. It's a perfect way to start it.
Down the road, close to the lake, you'll find Steve's Coffee House. As Meredith likes to put it, this feels like coffee on a cruise ship. If Coe is best for dreaming, then Steve's is best for getting work done. It's not uncommon to see lots of laptops as the Wi-Fi is really good and it has great lake views. One thing to note, pick your table carefully, or pick it by a window. There are a lot of people smoking with their coffee. The most scenic coffee shop, in our opinion, is the Roastery. Located in the old town by the water, this coffee shop doubles as a nightclub and has an inside-outside element to it. If you get there at 8 a.m. when it opens, the whole venue is empty and peaceful until about 9:30. The coffee is really good too. One day, we met the baker who caters for the Roastery. He's a kind man from the Netherlands. He said this is the best baked good that he makes. It is a swirl filled with cream and I can't wait to try it. Oh man.
How'd you do?
He did not lead us astray. We're working with a lemon custard here.
Oh,
Melt in the mouth. The swirl is actually thicker and denser than I expected. I thought it'd be more of a donut. It's almost a biscuit kind of flavor. I'm sorry, it's almost a biscuit texture. With a caramelized sugar outside. Oh man. Oh honey, you are missing out.
all
Sorry,
right.
you're on a diet.
No, I'm gonna try.
This wasn't the only baked good we had. Lucky for us, the #1 bakery in the city was right next to our home, Wake and Bake. Very affordable, the baked goods here will keep you coming back. Although we are not sure what any of them are called, they are all delicious. Despite not having cinnamon rolls, the 6 weeks in Ohrid with Wake and Bake had me forgetting all about the cinnamon needs. Today we are at Wake and Bake, home of the best baked goods that we have found in the city of Ohrid. Now, we got 2 coffees in cute little mugs and 2 homemade raspberry croissants. The total cost was $4 on the nose. Go Macedonia. Today, we're going to be reviewing the world famous raspberry croissant. Wow, look at the layers on this thing. It's got a little powdered sugar on top, raspberry deliciousness. Oh man, it's a red velvet raspberry. We're gonna be getting more of these guys. Macedonia has some incredible food. On one hand, it's a lot of globally familiar items. Pasta, french fries, pizza, steaks. On the other hand, it is a beautiful blend of Balkan, Mediterranean, and Middle Eastern flavors. This expression is felt both in the grocery stores, on the streets, and at restaurants. Let's start with some of the unique grocery items that really surprised us. Apiculture is a huge part of Macedonia's history, owing to the abundance of forest, meadows, and fruit trees. Yes, this is a new vocab word. Apiculture is bee raising. The bees are kept in unique beehives in Macedonia, providing direct and indirect benefits to the nature and the economies of Macedonia for centuries. Hey, I'm a honey guy, and even I was shocked when honey was only sold in huge quantities. Although the price per kilogram was really affordable, there's no need for 2 kilos of honey. I don't need that much honey. But we finally found a 250-gram jar, and wow, the honey is incredible. As it turns out, we did need those 2-kilogram jars. Due to the proximity to Greece, the prevalence of a true Greek yogurt was high, as was this Greek spiral pastry. Finally, our bean dish. Tavcha gravcha, the national dish of Macedonia and the best beans we've ever had. Ivar, or red pepper paste, generally made with horned peppers. Ivar is a seasonal dish, made right after the paprika harvest. Often served with bread or meat, we had it before almost all of our home-cooked meals. And we're never disappointed. We were addicted to this. And it is as healthy as any condiment really can get. It's vegetables. There are two beers that make up the most market share that we noticed in Macedonia. Skopsko is celebrating its 100-year anniversary, brewed in the Macedonian capital of Skopje. And Zlatendab, a lager brewed in Prilep, Macedonia, another historic beer from the region. Both get our recommendation. More important than beer is the raki. We had several experiences with homemade raki, a sort of brandy. Raki is extremely popular and extremely powerful. Another local beverage is Macedonian mountain tea. We bought this from a lady while walking back from the lake. She was so excited, but without English, left us to our own charades on how to prepare it. We gave it a shot. This herbal tea has been used for millennia against colds, flu, kidney stones, and respiratory issues. Not to mention, it has high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And finally, Coca-Cola. Apparently, Skopje produces the best Coca-Cola in the world according to Cola Coca Company themselves. The best Coca-Cola in the world is produced in Skopje, and this is my first sip of my first bottle of the best Coca-Cola in the world. I'm not a Coca-Cola connoisseur, but this is a darn good Coke.
I'm very excited for this sip. Oh my gosh, somehow it's better. This is so good.
It's good.
Wow, we might be drinking a lot of these while we're here.
Ohrid is full of high-quality restaurants. Here are some of our favorites. Our first restaurant experience was at Kebab House Adana. Adana kebab is a long, hand-minced meat grilled on an iron skewer over burning charcoal, spiced with paprika and salt. Delicious. We returned here a few times and always brought friends. Meche. Slightly outside of town, off the Highway 1301, Restaurant Meche is set overlooking the water. This gem has a robust, meat-heavy menu, affordable prices, and delicious food. We recommend the baked stews and the toasted bread. Our friend Blagoya brought us here as a "you need to get local good food" and happy birthday. Thank you, Blagoya. For a highly traditional meal, a restaurant we wish we could go back to again and again and again. Teresa Udarna. With authentic Macedonian food set atop a massive mountain overlooking the lake, this restaurant had its charm from the beginning. The food is superb, and the views are even better. Not to mention the incredibly great service. Despite the stellar views and iconic location, the food was actually more affordable than most restaurants in the city center. It's a true hidden gem. Finally, our fancy dinner. If you've been following our Uncovering series, you'll know we always indulge in one fancy meal in every town we live in. In Ohrid, the occasion was my birthday, and we ate at the highly recommended Restaurant Chum. Situated along the waterfront at the entrance to Old Town, the cozy location cannot be beat. Although the prices are not as affordable as other restaurants in town, the quality of service made us feel like royalty, and the food was truly phenomenal. We enjoyed a massive salad, the best beans, an incredible chicken kebab, and this to die for beef, eggplant, onion, cheese, salt deliciousness from heaven, plus 2 beers, and that'll run you $44 US. There are also 2 forms of entertainment at Chum: live music and live cats and dogs that hovel around the table, but they behave pretty well. Thank you, Mayor, for planning a perfect birthday dinner. The North Macedonian people captured our hearts. Every single person we interacted with in 6 weeks was kind, welcoming, and looking out for us. We were never made to feel unwelcomed anywhere in the city. People were patient with us as we learned from plenty of mistakes, and they were more than anything wanted us to just enjoy their country. There are a lot of entrepreneurs all around Ohrid and Skopje, but never once were we hassled. Everyone's extremely kind, helpful, and ensured that we had a good experience. This happened with taxi drivers, artists, tour guides, boaters, everybody. It's a sort of conscientious entrepreneurship that you would want your country to have. English is far more common than we expected. Restaurants were especially English-friendly. Shops, groceries, bus systems has virtually no English writing, but there was always someone who spoke enough English to help us out, and they were willing to do so. It's very easy to navigate your way around the country. We did make and practice a few flashcards just to get a few pleasantries to practice. One thing we need to touch on, safety. Macedonia, and Ohrid especially, is likely the safest place that we've ever traveled. It's almost impossible to visit Ohrid and not feel safe. Safe walking at night, not feeling a need to hold your backpacks close, not even feeling like you need to watch your bags while you go for a swim. The whole city feels incredibly safe and felt that way the entire time we were here. We can't explain if it's the culture, the town, or the people, but we felt safer in Ohrid than anywhere. All beautiful things come to an end, and so do our 6 weeks living in Ohrid. Ohrid was the coziest, friendliest town we have uncovered. The mornings are quiet, the food is delicious, and the nature is peaceful. Thank you Vlatko, Alina, and Blagoya for making us feel welcomed and at home here. We hope this video makes you proud. After spending this time in the Pearl of the Balkans, we truly cannot wait to return and explore more of this amazing country, and hopefully take our family one day to Ohrid too. Thank you for watching.